Greetings, beautiful earth angels. Welcome back to another video. It's your girl, Nagad, and today I'm going to be talking about how I keep my identity as a mother, as a madre. No drama. I should make a whole video about how I have no drama, actually. So embarking on this journey to motherhood, there were a lot of misconceptions that I had going into it and that I blame the internet for, solely the internet. And I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson really well. And I knew exactly what my intentions were. My intentions were to remain myself, enjoy living my life, and not to fall into the trap that a lot of parents fall into where they're living through their children. I'm going to be talking about lots of points throughout this video, but the main point will always come down to understanding where your life starts and ends and where other people's begins. I think a lot of us, the reason why we do lose our identities, whether it be as mothers or just career-oriented people or people who are in school, I think the reason why we do lose our identities or we feel like we lose ourselves or we feel lost or we feel like we don't know who we are is because we don't have that line of okay, this is me and this is my career. And in most cases, people find fulfillment because of where they are, what promotions they get, when in reality, what the focus should be is how can I use this to fulfill my purpose? Because a purposeless life ends up alone in a retirement home with nothing to do because you wasted your whole time helping other people. Now you're alone. Whatever you could have built for yourself, whatever hobbies you could have been mastering, whatever, you know what I mean, interests you could have been pursuing, and whatever regrets you carried throughout your life will haunt you because you spent so much time avoiding yourself. And that's not what you want to do. Nobody wants to live a life in an empty shell. I always knew that I wanted to be me. And the moment where I feel like that is not being honored, I have set up so many alarm systems in my mind so that when that does happen, because it does happen sometimes, we all are all of these lessons, all of these things I'm talking to you guys about are things that I'm constantly learning, unlearning, learning, unlearning, learning, unlearning. And each time I go back on it, I go back on it with more strength, with more understanding, with more maturity, that honestly, sometimes I'll deal with the same issue yearly. And each time I get over it, I'm always so proud of how I dealt with it even better than I did the year before. Because I'm consciously, I'm on this journey because I want at the end of it, I want to be satisfied with what I did for myself, for who I am. I want to be satisfied with the things that I have accomplished for me. The reason why we bring children into this earth is because we want them to have things for themselves. We want them to have experiences. We want them to be proud of themselves. We want them to enjoy the sweetness of life. But if you're not doing that, you're going to be surrounded by people who don't do it, and your children are going to grow up not doing it. And they're going to grow up thinking that in order for them to live, they have to do it through other people. They were busy learning things for you, for your sake, when it wasn't even fulfilling you. I always say this. I don't think that humans are innately bad. I think we go into things with good intentions, but we don't train ourselves. We don't have the proper training. We don't have the proper understanding. We don't have the proper ammunition. I know how to drive a car. I know what it takes. I know I need an insurance. I know I need the keys. I know I need to do the oil change. I know what it takes because I was taught those things. I know what it takes. But what does it take for you to live a fulfilled life? What does it take for you to be proud of you? What does it take for you to know what you like? There's nobody on this planet that's going to come up to you and say, oh my God, girl, you haven't been taking care of yourself. Oh my God, come, let's go. If you're waiting for that day, you'll wait until you die. And either death comes first or bitterness will eat you up. Because you're responsible for you. It's such a hard pill to swallow. And going into parenting, going into motherhood, you need to remind yourself that your child is living a life parallel to yours. It's not living a life, not even parallel. Your child is living a life adjacent to yours. That's it. It's not parallel. You're not ending up in the same place. He's going to go his own way and you're going to go your own way. So what are you working on now? What are you doing for yourself now? I know it sounds bad, but like going into motherhood, I thought I would lose myself because I thought I would constantly be thinking about my child. I truly believe in the philosophies of homeschooling, unschooling, and having free range children. It's not that you don't let them, you're not responsible for them, but you create environments where they're capable of not only pursuing their interests, pursuing their curiosities, seeing those things through, but it will give you space and time and peace of mind to focus on yourself, to take a deep breath, to check in with yourself. I want to have an intuitive relationship with my child. I don't want to be overbearing, and I trust my intuition. So with that being said, I don't waste my time overthinking like how many hours he sleeps, or like I really, basically what I'm trying to say is like I trust my child. I already trust him. And with that being said, I feel comfortable. Like I feel comfortable thinking about me. I trust his progress. When you have expectations for people, whether it be yourself or your children, then you lose yourself in those expectations. Actually, research has proven that it doesn't matter when they learn how to walk. It doesn't matter when they learn how to read. It doesn't affect their intelligence in the long run. We take on these new identities. We take on these new unfulfilling, like second player roles in other people's lives that don't benefit us. And when I say us, I mean like the essence of who you are. If you're trusting processes, whether it be how your child is growing or how your relationship is unfolding, and you trust your abilities to know what's right and what's wrong, then there's no reason for you to be over involved in so many things that don't fulfill you. Do you see where I'm coming from? So for me, it's like I don't over involve myself in things that don't have anything to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. My son walks. My son walks a lot. Oh my God, sorry if that was loud, but my son walks a lot. He walks. But do you know how much times I helped, like I held his hands and I tried to teach him? Do you know how much times I tried to teach him how to walk? Just think about it for a second. I'll tell you. 0. My son, I don't know, could count to 3. It's not an accomplishment to me because it's just memorization, and he doesn't understand the concept of, numbers yet. Like he doesn't understand it, but he can count to 3. But do you think I tried to teach him? No, I was just being myself, and he heard me say it multiple times, and you know what I mean? Like, that's another thing. Like, we don't realize that when you try to over control other people's lives, you're not acting or behaving from a positive place. So your traits in between those times, in between classes or in between processes or whatever the case may be, your traits are going to speak louder. So sure, you're going to be worrying that your child is 18 months old and doesn't walk. So you're going to train and train and train and train. But what they see is the frustration. They see the behaviors that are a result of feeling lack. Our children are not DUMB. They're not DUMB. They read energy stronger and better than we do. Your behavior is more important. Like if you're working on yourself, I always say this. If you're working on yourself and you're ensuring that everything you say, everything you do, the way you behave, everything is coming from a place of love, is coming from a healed place. You're able to try your best to identify traumas. Like you're just trying your best. That is more important. Work on yourself. Understand who you are. Because in order to be a mother, there are certain things that are expected of you. Regardless of if you want to call yourself a mother and focus just on motherhood, you're still going to have to do those things, right? Wouldn't you want to do it from a place of love, a place of happiness, a place of acceptance where your cup is also full? Because nobody's going to help you. Literally. Maybe the reason why I know this lesson so well is because, like, sure, people have helped me, but when I felt the lowest I've ever felt, I had a moment where I realized I'm the only one that knows what I feel. I'm the only one paying attention right now. Yeah, sure, my husband is like helping me emotionally and you know what I mean? Like he's doing the best he can, but he doesn't know what I feel on the inside. He doesn't know how deep the pain is. I can explain it over and over if I want, but nobody really understands how deep that pain is. And you're presented with like an option, like, nigga, okay, you don't like this. You want to stop? Like, do you want to stop this? Do you want to be better? Let's be better. Come on, like, let's go be better. And when you're presented with that option and you don't take that option, and you decide to just push it away, you'll remain where you are for as long as it takes for you to take the option. So why not prioritize yourself now and take that option now for yourself? If your cup is empty, or you're not like catching because negative self-talk comes out of your mouth once, like after a while. Because for you, it's staying up here, but it's coming out of here one way or the other. And if you're not checking your thoughts, you're not checking yourself, you're not focusing on yourself, then you're gonna end up living your life as somebody you don't even like. And again, that's not what I want for you. That's not what I want for me. So that's one way that I ensure that I still keep my identity, even though I'm going through motherhood. Now, I'm going to talk about things that I do instead of other things. All right, so like instead of watching like motherhood videos or anything to do with motherhood, because before I was a mom, I didn't, okay? I'm going to be honest. Then I had a kid, I started like falling into the trap. Then I'm like, this is not my identity. These children will grow. I am still me. So I went through my search history on YouTube and I tried to see, like the old things I used to watch. I just tried to reconnect with myself before I lost her too far. And every day I started doing things for me. What do I want to do? Where do I see myself? I started, when I see my child being a child, I connect to it and I encourage my inner child to express herself as well. That wonder, that excitement, the curiosity I see in his eyes, I remember that for myself. I want to make that version of me proud. All the work you put into your child now, like they just won't remember it. All the laughs, the giggles, the extra rides you're giving them, the toys you're buying them, they just won't remember it. That's how it works. They don't remember any of it. But the way I treat him will manifest in his future. And the way I treat others as a it's directly correlated to how I'm treating myself up here. And this up here is a garden. It needs to be tended to. My garden is like, I don't know what's wrong with her. She needs to be tended to all the time. But I tend to her because I know that like if I don't, then it comes out in ways that I don't want it to. You're literally his example or her example of what a responsible adult is. You are their example. Once you understand that, you'll understand how important it is for you to prioritize yourself, your interests. What do you like to do? And the less you over-involve yourself in your child's life, the easier it is for you to see them make mistakes. The easier it is for you to be patient with them. The easier it is for you to teach them things. Because you don't even see them as your belonging anymore. You don't see them as, I track this and I've seen this and I know you do this. And you're not over involved in their lives. Trust in nature. Don't choose the hard route just for yourself simply because you want to be difficult. And because you want to lose yourself, because you want to jeopardize your relationships. And because you want to jeopardize your future with not only yourself, but your child. Like, you can't do this to yourself. You cannot disservice yourself to that extent. And I realize that, and that's something I'm not willing to do. I'm not willing to lose myself for nobody. For nobody. And in order for my children, my husband, for people around me to be happy, I need to make sure that I'm happy. And I'm working on myself. Anyway, I hope this video helped. And I hope it kind of gives you the encouragement you need to work on yourself, to figure out what your interests are, and to remove the stress and the weight of feeling responsible for other people's lives off of your shoulders. It's not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility. Again, I always say this, and I always say that I always say these things, but witness protection program. If you were in the witness protection program, who are we going to be working with? Who's that person going to be? Because you're not going to have anyone else around you. Anyway, I don't want it to come off as me saying work on yourself and F the rest. No. It's work on yourself and you'll be better able to service other people. So yeah, I'm going to end this video here. If you've made it all the way to the end, please make sure to subscribe to I always say subscribe to my channel, but subscribe to my channel. Like my video if you haven't already, please. And make sure to comment what you do in order to ensure that you don't lose yourself, or let me know how it's been for you. like if you're somebody who has lost themselves, because it happens, it's so easy. It literally, the cord can just slip out of your hands any second. It goes from one video to the next to the next. Next thing you know, you're reading articles and your whole personality, your whole identity becomes, my child is sleeping only 11 hours, not 12. What's going on? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video here and I'll see you in my next one. Same place, same time. Okay, good.